This is Triggered.
And you will be. Good morning, Chantal.
Good morning. How are you on this fabulous day?
I really went to bed being like, God, we got to get up at 5. But then I woke up so excited to tell this story. I was like, boom, chicka, duk, 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 duk. Like I was on it.
I am more productive in the morning. When I'm going to put it like up a poll. When are you guys most productive? Because I am good from 5 till about 11. 11 to 4, forget it.
Yeah.
Forget it. I am listening to podcasts. I am cleaning. I am chilling. I am not being productive.
I agree. It's hard for me to get out of bed though. Like,
oh, is it?
I used to be that girl that was up at 4:30, went to the gym.
Yeah.
Now my 40s hit and I'm like, you're
like, the bed is lovely.
Yeah.
This is a nice place to be.
I have my dogs. Things are good. So I have a story for you today, and it's disturbing in a lot of different ways, but it's also one of those stories that, from my personal experience, resonates with me a lot. It is definitely one of those things that's going to make you think, but I think there's a lot of controversy around it. So we are going to be touching a lot on Catholicism.
Catholicism?
Catholicism. The Catholic Church.
We're going to talk about Catholicism. I think it's Catholicism. I think you were right.
I think so. It just sounded weird.
I know, like
maybe it was the face I made when I said it, like the questioning dog head tilt.
It was literally like question mark above your head.
Hello. Anyways.
Well, we like disturbing and controversial. That's kind of our jam.
This one is a pretty good one. I would like to kind of give you a bit of a background before I get into it. I'm going to give you my point of view.
Sounds good.
So picture this. A young child, eyes wide with wonder, stepping into a warm embrace of a church. This was my world, a place where I learned the rhythms of prayer and tradition. My grandmother, a devout Catholic woman, was my guiding light. Remember my Nan?
I do remember your Nan. And I think a lot of people have a very similar story, like a very similar upbringing where there was that
I adored her.
Religious
Yeah, I adored her more than anything. She was the heart of our family, and her unwavering faith was a source of strength for everybody. I was baptized at birth, a sprinkle of holy water making the beginning of my journey as a child. As I grew, I found myself surrounded by the rituals of the church. I attended Catholic school, where the routines became second nature. From daily prayers to confessions to sacraments felt like comforting blankets around me. Those were things that I was so used to from such a young age that it was just normal for me. But these moments of familiarity that I feel like started to kind of waver, and my curiosity began to bloom as I got older.
How old were you when you first started to question God?
I would say teenager for sure, because up until about the age of 16, 17, I prayed every night in bed.
Yeah. I think my first questions came, I was probably 14.
Yeah. You start kind of questioning the world around you. The one defining moment for me when I started wondering about it was actually in church with my grandmother and the priest talking about purgatory. I thought to myself, but how can a baby born in innocence and purity say they pass away before being baptized? The idea was they would be stuck in purgatory if their soul wasn't prayed for, if they were not baptized.
Weird.
And for me, that just never sat well with me because you can't control where you're born, who you're born to, and the people you're surrounded by. So there was just some questions starting at that point, right? So I definitely started to question the beliefs that surrounded me, wondering about the deeper meanings behind the rituals. As the stories were being told, it was a blend of love and inquiry that shaped my early years, a dance between faith and the desire to understand. So as I did enter my teenage years, as I said, my curiosity about the world deepened, especially when it came to the whispers of secret societies within the Vatican.
Ooh, okay.
These tales captivated me, drawing me into a realm where faith and secrecy intertwined. I found myself questioning everything I thought I knew. So every Friday night was a special tradition in my house, watching horror movies with my mom.
From church to horror. I love it.
It was our little ritual, a chance to bond over thrilling tales that sent shivers down our spines. But one film in particular left an undeniable mark in my young mind. It was The Exorcist.
Oh, of course it did. How old were you?
Maybe 13.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll do it.
And because these stories are not fictional, they are based on true events that have been documented.
Right.
So the cinematic horrors that filled my screen were unlike anything I had ever experienced. As the story unfolded, I was gripped by a torrent of questions. What is the nature of evil? How does faith confront darkness? The film was a whirlwind of fear and fascination for me, and I found myself delving deeper into this intriguing world.
Yeah.
So I always, we talk a lot about manifesting our futures and things like that. In my mind, I always envisioned myself visiting the Vatican. And I always said, imagine being in a place that holds so many secrets, so many stories, so many things. There is something so intriguing about that for me.
Yeah. So,
ironically enough, my dream did come to light October 2022. I not only visited the Vatican. Which Rome was just incredible. But my husband actually proposed there.
Which is so crazy.
Yeah, it was St. Peter's Basilica. It was a whole thing. He had a photographer. I was a little hungover, a little too much wine the night before. Big shocker. It was a beautiful moment.
Yeah.
Someday maybe we'll post a picture of that moment. It was pretty great.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So let's get into my story.
Okay.
So we're going to dive into a haunting tale that has sparked debate and intrigue for decades. The story of Anneliese Michel.
Anneliese Michel?
Oh, man.
Tell me about your sadness.
Oh, this one is pretty raw.
Yeah.
As we go, Chantal is going to input a little something for you, but we're going to get into that something. So Anneliese was born on September 21st, 1952, in the small town of Liebfling, Bavaria, so West Germany.
Okay.
From a young age, she was deeply religious, attending Mass twice a week. Faith was a cornerstone for her life. It provided her with a real sense of purpose and community. So that was her basic, that was her thing. Her people were there. This is her comfort place. Everything did change, though, when Anneliese turned 16. She suffered a severe convulsion that led to a diagnosis of temporal lobe epilepsy.
Uh-oh.
Yes, this condition would profoundly impact her life, bringing it a host of challenges she would struggle with. So, there is a lot more to the diagnosis, but if I didn't summarize this story as best as I could, we would be here for a month.
Oh, without doubt.
Yeah, so I really wanted to keep things, these are the facts, this is what happened.
Yeah.
But there are movies out there, there's so much out there on this. So after graduating high school in 1973, Anneliese enrolled in the University of Würzburg, hopefully to pursue her future, create a life for herself. Things were looking up. However, her health issues persisted. In June that year, she experienced a third seizure while at a psychiatric hospital, a moment that marked a significant turning point in her journey. So at this point, Anneliese is starting to develop, auras. She's, having these episodes.
Yeah.
Now this is her third seizure. And it's not that long ago. So we had MRIs. They were able to check.
Yeah. What year is this again?
73.
Okay. Yeah.
So things like the medical situation was getting better all the time. And Germany does have an amazing medical system.
Yes, yeah.
So they're a little ahead of the times. So by 1973, Anneliese's condition had worsened. So we're halfway through, we're in school, we're trying, but she is suffering.
Yeah.
She began to battle depression and experience alarming hallucinations, particularly during her prayers. Anneliese frequently complained of hearing voices, which only deepened her distress and confusion. So right away, you're going to say, okay, are we dealing with maybe a little schizophrenia, intrusive thoughts? There's a lot of things that could be going on here.
Interesting, though, that it happens during her prayers.
Right. Yeah.
That is interesting.
Yeah. So in June, after going in and out of the psychiatric hospital, trying to get to the bottom of everything, she was still kind of recovering from that third seizure we spoke about. It was here she was prescribed an anticonvulsion medication for the first time, including a drug called Dilantin. But rather than finding relief, she was plunged deeper into a nightmarish reality, describing visions of devil faces that haunted her throughout the day. So that's scary. I don't care who you are. If you're seeing devil faces, you're scared.
Absolutely.
In an attempt to stabilize her condition, doctors turned to Alopt, a medication akin to chlorpromazine.
Listen, that's
These names,
good enough. Yeah.
Yeah. Often used to treat severe psychosis like schizophrenia.
Okay.
So they're trying to help her.
Yeah.
Yet, despite their efforts, her mental health continued to deteriorate. She was not only battling physical symptoms, but also the grip of severe depression. So she is in it. She's feeling like crap. She can't figure out what her brain is doing. And now she is in the middle of a deep depression. And I don't know if anyone out there has ever been in a depression, but it is not easy.
No.
It can...
And it's very real and
very real.
It's so consuming.
It's so consuming.
Like, I've battled depression in my life, and every now and then you have moments of relapse. And for me, at least, like, my story is it's when I least expect it. Like, sometimes
everything's going great.
Everything's great.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it's just like this overpowering just cloud, and you're like, where did this come from?
Yeah, the mind is a very powerful thing.
Very.
So during moments of prayer, she would hallucinate and hear sinister voices taunting her with messages of damnation, telling her she was doomed and she would rot in hell.
This ain't schizophrenia.
That's what I'm thinking.
Listen.
As the years passed, Anneliese's experience in and out of the psychiatric hospital became a cycle of despair. The long-term treatments offered little in the way of improvement. Frustrated and delusional, she found herself increasingly intolerant of symbols of her faith. Christian sacred places and objects, including the crucifix, became sources of severe distress.
Oh, man.
So that is also something. And I know I have, been around people with schizophrenia.
Yeah.
So, it doesn't take that off the table completely. But it's ironic that the one thing she at one time found peace with is now causing her such distress.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, because if it was trauma from something, and I mean, we are only going based off of like the research that you can do, but you would assume it would be from some sort of trauma. It doesn't sound like that was there. It sounds like the church and her faith was a really comforting thing for her.
She had a beautiful family. There was nothing to say that something triggered this.
Yeah.
So seeking solace, she did decide to visit San Damiano, accompanied by a family friend who often organized Christian pilgrimages.
Okay.
However, her experience there would only deepen the mystery surrounding her condition. Her companion observed something alarming. Anneliese was unable to walk past a crucifix. A moment so profound that it led her escort to the conclusion that she was suffering from a demonic possession.
Yes. Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah. And you know, she's trying. She's like, I'm going to go to this pilgrimage. Yeah. I'm going to get my faith
fix
back.
This.
Yeah. Jesus will save me. God will be there.
Past a crucifix.
It's pretty spooky.
Boom.
When she refused to drink from a nearby holy spring, the situation became even more concerning. What was happening to Anneliese? Was it a medical crisis? Or was there something more supernatural at play?
I think we're past medical crisis.
Yeah. So, in a powerful account, Father Alt, who was a big person in her life, who was running these pilgrimages, he was a man of faith. He did share a haunting moment when Anneliese attempted to enter a shrine. A place that should have offered solace and peace, but instead became a severe source of torment. And Fra Han, who was her escort and friend, confirmed this story.
Okay.
That she was unable to enter the shrine, she approached it with the greatest hesitation. Imagine standing before a sacred space filled with the weight of expectation and hope, yet feeling an unbearable force pushing you away. Anneliese described the soil as burning like fire under her feet. An intensity so overwhelming that she simply could not stand it. In that moment, the shrine transformed from a holy refuge into a place of agony.
Oh, no.
Girl, stay tuned. As she walked around the shrine in a wide arc, Anneliese observed those kneeling in prayer nearby. To her horror, it seemed as if they were like gashing their teeth at her in snarls, their faces twisted in grimaces that suggested they too were caught in a struggle she could not understand.
I'm terrified.
So she's seeing this in front of her, as real as you and I sitting in front of each other, and this poor girl is absolutely terrified. And no one else is seeing this. So could you imagine how that would feel? You are in a whole other reality, and you don't know what's real, what's not.
Yeah.
So she approached the edge of a little garden, but the barrier of the shrine was impossible for her to cross. She could not get there. Time and time again, she tried to get closer, only to be forced to turn back, each attempt leaving her more distress. Father Alt describes how she could not bear to look at the image of Christ in the chapel, averting her gaze as if the sight itself was hurting her.
And this is progressively getting worse.
Yes.
Because we started with, oh, I'm hearing things when I'm praying. I'm seeing really demonic faces when I'm praying. And now she is physically being restrained from her free will has been taken away.
She's feeling physical pain.
Wow.
Which is just wild. So then it comes into play, like, can your mind do that? We'll find out.
Yeah.
Anneliese's challenges did not end there. She noted a troubling shift in her perception. So medals and pictures of saints that once brought her comfort now sparkled with an intensity that overwhelmed her senses. They became not symbols of faith, but objects of torment, blinding her with their brilliance. So she's seeing things in a whole other light.
On a whole other plane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's watching this and reading about this, and like it took me quite a while to get to the bottom of it. It was hard. This one was really like keeping me up at night.
It gives me like I can feel a heaviness in my chest because it's almost like a panic.
Yeah.
Where you're thinking, because it is so frustrating to be seeing things as real as, like you said, you and me here. And then you're asking someone like, do you see that? And they're saying, no, what are you talking about? That's a panic.
Scary.
That's like, that's a claustrophobia that is different than a physical like restraint.
100%. Yeah. So Anneliese's mother noticed something unsettling about her daughter. She claimed to have seen stigmata.
Oh.
Marks resembling the wounds of Christ.
Oh.
On Anneliese's body. So stigmata is basically where he was crucified.
Yeah, so hands, feet,
chest.
Yeah.
Yeah. So It's scary stuff. Like, this isn't like just something light. She's seeing this now herself.
Yeah. Yikes.
This revelation added a layer of complexity to Anneliese's already tumultuous journey. In her mind, she believed she could communicate with Mary, the mother of Jesus, seeking solace and guidance from the figure of maternal comfort. So this poor girl is just like, please
she's going through
help
it.
me.
Yeah, she's going through it.
As Anneliese's condition worsened, her family and community became increasingly convinced that something far more sinister was at play. They turned to the church, consulting several priests in a desperate attempt for an exorcism. However, their pleas were met with reluctance. The priest recommended that Anneliese continued her medical treatment, explaining that exorcisms require the bishop's explicit permission.
Yes, I've heard of this.
So, in the Catholic Church, the process of granting an exorcism isn't just like, hi, we need an exorcism. It involves a strict set of criteria.
Right.
And approval is only given when a person is believed to be genuinely possessed.
Yeah, this is harder than getting a mortgage.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't just you apply. It's not like a loan. There's investigations. There's medical.
Yeah.
Like, this
so many things need to be met before they even consider it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So signs of possession can include an intense dislike of religious objects and an apparent manifestation of supernatural powers. I'm going to say it again. Supernatural powers.
Oh my God. Friends?
It's terrifying.
It's so scary.
And, you know, the thing about that is we take everything in our life at face value. But what if you start seeing somebody doing things like crawling up a wall? Science tells us that's not possible. However,
absolutely,
it's been documented.
And we all believe different things.
Yes, absolutely.
And I am not coming here today to tell you that you're wrong in your beliefs or you that you're wrong in your beliefs. This is just what I believe. But I am a firm believer that we live on consecutive planes and that we just can't see what's happening on the next plane necessarily. But there are situations where you can, or people can, maybe not you specifically, but there are like what you're telling us today, like these are documented cases of this.
And another thing, I would love to hear from people. What do you think about this?
Yeah.
Give us
what
what
have you
think.
Experienced?
Yeah.
Because I've spoken to so many people who have experienced. Listen, we won't get into it today. I have experienced things that are inexplainable.
Absolutely.
You cannot, and I try so hard to explain it to people, and it's like, what?
Yeah.
What did you just say?
So Anneliese's struggles are deepening. Her family is facing a harrowing decision.
Yeah.
They were caught in a web of spiritual conviction and medical reality, desperate for answers but finding themselves met with skepticism from both the religious and medical communities. Of course.
Of course.
So that's a hard spot to be in, especially if your convictions are so true. You're really stuck.
And you want to have an answer.
Yes,
You
this is
want
your
to
baby.
and you want to be told, oh, it's because of her medical issues. Oh, it's because of this. You don't want to be left in the ether where it's, you're being told it's probably demons.
That's terrifying.
Can you take a pill for that? Does she need a Tylenol? Like, I don't know.
No. As time went on, her condition started to deteriorate rapidly. Physically weakening and increasingly aggressive, she began to engage in self-destructive behaviors.
Uh-oh.
In a state of profound distress, she resorted to drinking her own urine and eating insects, actions that signified her deep-seated suffering and disconnection from reality.
And I'm sure you get into this, when a person is possessed, the end goal is to take over their physical being completely. So that's where people end up doing like these self-destructive behaviors
100%.
Because the possession, the demon possession or whatever you believe is possessing them is trying to take over them completely.
Yes. They're breaking them down.
Yeah.
So in November, still 73, seeking some relief.
It's good.
Jeez,
It's early.
Louise. Jeez
so
Louise. Anneliese started a new treatment regimen with Tegretol, an anti-seizure medication that also serves as a mood stabilizer.
All right.
Alongside this, she was prescribed antipsychotic drugs as part of her ongoing care. So they are still treating this as a medical condition.
Yeah.
Despite her commitment to taking these neuroleptic medications, her symptoms continued to spiral out of control. So no medication is working.
Doing anything.
Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not touching it.
Yeah.
So at this point, you're like, because the math isn't mathing here.
No.
So those who witnessed her transformation reported alarming changes. She began exhibiting behaviors that were frightening to those around her. Growling, seeing visions of demons, and throwing objects in fits of rage. Her struggle was not just a battle with her mind. It seemed as if she was caught in a fight against an unseen force. So this poor girl is literally being tortured. I know for the most part, we talk murder, we talk about, human beings being evil and doing these horrific things. But what do you do when your child is being tortured by an unseen force?
You can't put a demon in jail.
No. As her family and friends looked on, they faced the terrifying reality of a loved one slipping away, trapped in a world that seemed increasingly hostile and chaotic. So now we're going to get into a little more of what the decision was. And ultimately, this is going to, I think, cause a little bit of a conversation. I have opinions. I've consulted with my husband and we've had debates. So I'm curious.
Those are the best.
Yes. Father Alt observed Anneliese closely and noted something unsettling. He declared that she didn't look like an epileptic. She had never had a seizure in front of anybody. Instead...
So those... Sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
So those seizures... She was self-reporting those?
So she's self-reporting. People notice, odd behaviors, like convulsions.
But never, an epileptic seizure.
But they're not looking like seizures.
Okay.
And interestingly enough, after that third one, she's not having those anymore. Now we're just straight up hallucinating.
Right. Okay, got it.
Right. Mm-hmm. So he did believe she was possessed by demons, which is probably a really hard thing to say out loud as somebody, in the Catholic Church, because this is not something they take lightly.
No.
And it's probably terrifying.
Yeah.
For everybody involved. So this conviction did lead him to urge the local bishop to allow the exorcism, a plea that was set into motion in a series of events that would change everything. A heartfelt letter to Father Alt dated 1975, Anneliese expressed to her torment. "I am nothing. Everything about me is vanity," she wrote. She felt the weight of her suffering and sought redemption, asking him to pray for her. In another moment of vulnerability, she expressed the desire to bear the pain for others, saying, "I want to suffer for other people. But this is so cruel." So I think there is part of her still trying to be there. She's like, her faith is still very strong.
She's still there. It's just she's being pushed down by this entity.
Yeah. And that just her saying, "I'm willing to suffer for others," is a testament to this was a sweet girl.
Yeah.
She did not deserve this.
No.
Nobody deserves this.
No.
As the months passed, the situation escalated. In September 1975, Bishop Joseph Strangel finally granted permission for an exorcism to take place. Following Father Arnold Rentz to perform a sacred ritual according to the ritual Romanium. However, this blessing came with a heavy caveat. Total secrecy was mandated. So they're like, okay, we're going to go and we're going to do this exorcism. But we are not talking about it. This is on the DL.
We're going to do it.
Let's go.
We're going to get out.
Yeah.
And then it never happened.
Yes.
Got it.
The first session, conducted by Father Rentz, marked the beginning of a harrowing descent into darkness. Anneliese, once a vibrant young woman, became increasingly fixated on death, speaking in chilling terms about atoning for the sins of others. Her parents, clinging desperately to hope, abandoned medical intervention altogether, placing their faith entirely in the power of exorcism rites. Now, I want to point something out because Anneliese is essentially an adult at this point.
Right. Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
So, I never really got into it, but she was asking for no more medical intervention.
Okay.
She was in and out of
psychiatric. She got to the point.
Yeah. She's like, it's not working.
No. Yeah. All right.
You know, she's putting the work in.
Yeah.
Week after week, the rituals continued, sometimes stretching for hours on end. Anneliese's cries and pleas echoed through the small room, a stark testament to the unseen forces she believed were tormenting her. As the weeks turned into months, a total of 67 grueling exorcism sessions were performed.
I'm sorry, 67?
And some lasting as long as 4 hours apiece?
I don't know. I'm not a bishop. At 20, I'm like, maybe this isn't working.
Yeah.
67?
67. And Anneliese is getting worse.
Oh, God.
So as these exorcisms raged on, Anneliese's physical condition starts to deteriorate. She refuses food. Her body is ravaged by the relentless spiritual assault.
Oh.
This girl is fading away. Time is continuing on. Nothing is working. The relentless German summer beat down on the small town where the Michel family resided, their home now shrouded in a palpable sense of dread. Palpable.
Yep.
I say palpable, you say palpable, potato, potato. Here it is. For months, they had waged a desperate battle against the unseen force that was tormenting their daughter Anneliese. But their fight, fueled by unwavering faith and punctuated by the chilling rituals of exorcism, were nearing a tragic end. This is where the story gets so sad for me because you're so hopeful. You're like, this is going to work. You know, this girl has faith. Her family has faith. We've brought the big guns in. Something's got to give. On the first day of July, as the heat hung heavy in the air, Anneliese Michel drew her final breath. She was just 23 years old. Her emaciated body, a mere 66 pounds.
No.
66 pounds. That's the size
I didn't think
of a 10-year-old.
I didn't think this led to death.
I'm sorry.
Oh, Anneliese.
Her little body bore the physical scars of the spiritual war that had raged within her.
Wow.
Her knees broken from countless genuflections. So I'm going to explain this to you because I had...
Sorry for laughing.
It was, I was like, what is that word? And I looked and looked. So basically what she kept doing was she would be up and she would slam her body over and over onto her knees until they broke.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Stop.
Over and over and over in a very, it was so agonizing, and I can't imagine, she wasn't showing, like she would scream and she would growl and she would make sounds. She just couldn't take it anymore. Her little body. I wasn't
expecting that, and the vision of that made my stomach turn.
Yeah.
That's awful.
So eventually pneumonia did take hold on her little weakened body.
Yeah.
She got very sick, and it was a long and agonizing ordeal. And as part of this ordeal, we do have a clip of what these exorcisms sounded like.
Yes.
Now, keeping in mind, she is a small girl, super small, and the sounds that came over my ears were so... It's going to be hard for me to forget that.
Yeah, no kidding.
So we're going to play a little clip of that for you. Trigger warning. Ugh.
Die müssen wieder auf der Kanzel predigen, sagt Michel.
Yeah. You can't prepare for that.
I don't know what I expected, and I'm upset.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna need to sage this room. We're gonna light some white candles.
Yeah.
We're gonna put a salt ring around the closet. I mean, okay. Yeah. All right.
So that was what happened over 67
That's
times.
Awful.
That
67
girl.
times. Wow.
So the official autopsy report came back, and it painted such a grim picture. Malnutrition, dehydration, the result of prolonged starvation.
Yeah.
It was a clinical assessment that did little to soothe the grief of her family, nor did it fully address the unsettling questions surrounding her demise. So here's the question I have for our listeners.
Okay.
This has been a big debate in my house for 3-4 days. Had Anneliese become a victim of misguided faith, her suffering exuberated by the denial of proper medical care? Or did her death point in a realm beyond human understanding? A chilling testament to the power of the supernatural. Whatever the truth, one thing remained undeniable. A young life had been tragically cut short, leaving behind a legacy of sorrow and a haunting reminder of the fine line that separates faith from fanaticism. My question to everybody is, at what point is this now neglect? At what point are the people around her responsible for ensuring she was being cared for?
I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of her mother or of a caretaker, and it's difficult because it sounds like they were doing everything they possibly could from a medical reality standpoint.
Yes.
It sounds like they looked at schizophrenia, they looked at mental health issues, they looked at brain, like neurological, physical issues,
Yes.
and they were treating her for all of this, and none of that was doing anything. So, and I mean, 67 exorcisms is insane to me. That's crazy to me. After, like I said earlier, after 20, it's not working, priest.
Yeah.
It's not working. It's
Yeah.
whatever you're doing, it's not working.
I find it interesting that you say that, because this was my standpoint was, and I'm going to get into what happens next because it does go to trial.
Okay.
Do I believe that they did the due diligence that they had to? Absolutely. You have to remember, this girl is drinking her own urine.
Yeah.
She refuses to eat.
Yeah.
But then also, when I had my big debate in my kitchen the other night, my husband was like, maybe, hospitalization, IVs, things like that. However, when you are somebody who believes solely on faith and your foundation is of this, you are doing everything to your knowledge the best you can do.
Yeah.
This was not done maliciously.
No.
These people were not trying to hurt her.
No, I don't think so.
So my stand on it was like, were there some poor decisions made? Probably.
Yes.
But I wasn't there.
Yeah.
And I would never, after hearing the videos and seeing pictures and things like that, we will post some pictures of this poor gal. I don't know what I would do in that situation. The desperation would take over.
The thing that I continue to get caught up on is 67 times is too much.
It is.
That's excessive.
That's where the poor,
You have to get to a point where you think, this isn't working. This isn't working. We need to stop, or we need to find a different way to do this. We need to find a different method. We need to find a different priest. We need to find a different church.
Something.
I don't know. But 67,
yeah, it's a lot.
If they're being accused of anything, that is excessive.
Okay.
I don't think that was necessary.
So let's jump into that.
Okay.
March 30th, 78, the courtroom buzzed with anticipation. Journalists jostled for space, eager to chronicle a case that had gripped the nation's imagination. On trial were not murderers, but two men of God, Father Arnold Rentz and Pastor Ernest Alt, the priests who had performed Anneliese's exorcisms. They stood accused of negligent homicide. So I do...
I know.
See? Now
I'm thinking.
We're on a
yeah,
teeter-totter.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. I've been teetering and tottering about this for days.
I don't know how many times, and I'm not super religious anymore. I don't know how many times I could watch someone break their own knees before I am loading them into my car and bringing them to the hospital.
100%. So the prosecution, armed with expert medical testimony, presented a compelling case. Doctors argued that Anneliese's demonic possession was a tragic misdiagnosis, a manifestation of her epilepsy and the psychological pressure of her strict religious upbringing. One doctor, Richard Roth, who had been consulted during the exorcisms, allegedly uttered a chilling statement to Anneliese. There is no injection against the devil.
We just said that earlier.
Yeah.
Like, you can't take a pill for this.
No. So the defense, however, came back, remained steadfast in their belief that Anneliese had been a victim of demonic forces. They argued that exorcism had been conducted legally, protected under Germany's freedom of religion. As evidence, they played chilling audio recordings, which we've heard, claiming the guttural voices captured on tape where demons were arguing with each other in German, identifying themselves as Lucifer, Cain, Judas Iscariot, even Adolf Hitler.
Oh.
Yeah. All of those things are so scary to me. Like, I don't even like saying those words out of my mouth.
I could tell when you were saying them.
I was like, oh, we don't want to be doing that.
You're like rocking back and forth. Like, okay, all right, I'm going to
say it. I'm going to say the words.
I'm going to say it.
The priests argued that these entities had tormented Anneliese, and their exorcism had ultimately freed her soul just before death. So I'm hopeful. And that's all you can be in this situation. I hope she found peace.
Yeah.
The courtroom, steeped in religious and legal complexities, became a battleground for one of the most enduring questions of humanity, the existence of evil itself. After weeks of gripping testimony, the fate of Anneliese Michel's exorcists, and indeed the legacy of her death, rested in the hands of the German court. The eyes of the world watched, captivated by this collision of faith, justice, and the unknown. The verdict arrived, April 1978, sending shockwaves through Germany and beyond. The court found Anneliese's parents, along with Father Renz and Pastor Alt, guilty of negligent homicide.
Wow.
They were handed suspended prison sentences and ordered to bear the weight of the legal costs. It was a decision considered by many to be surprisingly harsh, even exceeding the prosecution's own request for leniency. Adding to the controversy, Bishop Strangel, the man who had authorized the exorcism, distanced himself from the case. He claimed ignorance in Anneliese's dire physical state and remained absent from the courtroom. This only fueled accusations of the church attempting to protect its own while leaving the Michel family and their priests to face judgment alone. So they did their due diligence, and I truly feel like this is just another situation, and I don't want to get into the things we know about the Catholic Church, but the minute shit hits the fan and one of their own fucks up, they bail and they cover it up.
It wasn't me.
Yeah. The case, however, was far from closed. The church's involvement, particularly its official sanctioning of the ancient rite of exorcism, drew intense scrutiny and ignited a fierce public debate. Critics, including author and scholar John M. Duffy, pointed to Anneliese's tragic death as a stark example of the dangers of misidentifying mental illness as demonic possession. Perhaps bowing to mounting pressure, years later, the German bishops made a startling move. In a quiet conference, far from the media frenzy that had surrounded Anneliese's death, they officially retracted their earlier claim that she had been possessed.
Oof.
It was a stunning reversal, but one that came too late for Anneliese.
No kidding.
So the story of Anneliese continues to resonate, a chilling reminder of the complexities of faith, the importance of seeking proper medical care, and the devastating consequences when these two worlds collide. Her case remains a haunting parable of our time, a stark illustration of the enduring power of belief and the profound responsibility we all share in caring for the vulnerable among us.
What would it take for you to begin to believe it wasn't medical? At what point? Because we all have different points of threshold, right? Like, you could call me and be like, I saw a ghost this morning in the bathroom, and I'd be like, yeah, you did. Tell me everything.
Right.
I could call Matt and be like, hey, I saw an entity in our house, and he's gonna be like,
have a nap.
Okay. Yeah, legit. Why don't you lay down? Like, because the threshold of what he needs to believe it is so much higher than what mine is.
100%.
And so that's what I want to ask everyone is, what is your threshold in terms of this? At what point, what do you need to see that convinces you, okay, this is no longer medical, this is something otherworldly?
Another thing, so this story did become so popular that there is a film that was created.
What is it?
The Exorcism of Emily Rose.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So it's a good movie.
Yeah.
It's something to check out. There were a lot of actually very valid points in the movie that were very true to the story. But again, it's a dramatization.
Absolutely. It always is.
So check that movie out.
Yeah.
I think that we've left our listeners with something to consider for the day. And I want to know. I want to know what everyone thinks.
Yeah. Say your prayers, friends.
Thanks for joining us on Triggered, where we dive deep into the dark, the twisted, and the cosmic mysteries of the universe.
Until next time, stay curious, stay cautious, always watch the stars and your back.